Have you ever wondered if the story of Samara, the girl from the well in the ring, has any basis in real life? What if I told you that behind the fiction lies a much darker and more disturbing origin than any film has ever shown? In the next few minutes you'll discover the macabre secrets, urban legends, and even real-life stories that inspired the creation of this character who haunts the nightmares of millions to this day. But be careful, the deeper you delve into this story, the harder it will be to face the darkness. Stay with me until the end and discover the true secret behind Samara. To understand Samara, we need to go back in time, long before Hollywood. The 2002 film The Ring, which became famous in the West, is actually a remake of a 1998 Japanese film called Ringu, directed by Hideo Nakata, and Ringu in turn was inspired by a novel written by Koji Suzuki. But the true inspiration for the story didn't come solely from one writer's imagination. Suzuki delved into ancient Japanese legends of vengeful spirits, known as Onryo. These ghosts, usually women who suffered an unjust death, returned to curse those who crossed their path. Japan has recorded such stories for centuries, and they were told as a warning not to commit injustice against the weakest. Samara, or Sadako in the Japanese version, was born from this archetype, the rejected, tormented girl who carries a fury so intense it transcends death. Samara isn't just frightening because of her appearance. The image of the girl with her long hair covering her face, emerging from the well and crawling across the television, is frightening. But what provokes most dread is the idea of silent evil. A spirit that doesn't scream, doesn't run, but simply watches and waits for the right moment to strike. In the film, the cursed ribbon is a symbol. It not only spreads fear but also serves as a metaphor for the traumas and horrors that are passed down from generation to generation. Each person who watches the tape becomes both a victim and a transmitter of the curse. It's an endless cycle of pain, and that's precisely what makes the story so disturbing. And here comes the most curious detail. Many film researchers claimed that the idea for the tape was inspired by reports of supposedly cursed videos that circulated in Japan in the 1980s and 1990s. No one knows if they were just urban legends or if they actually existed, but there are records of people who swore they saw strange, meaningless recordings and soon began suffering unexplained accidents. But now comes the most chilling part. Author Koji Suzuki was inspired by a little-known true story. In the 1970s, rumors circulated in Japan about a girl who lived isolated on an island, rejected by her own family for exhibiting strange behaviors. Some said she had psychic powers, such as predicting disasters and reading thoughts. Others claimed they were simply outbursts of a disturbed mind. One day, this girl mysteriously disappeared. Some believe she was murdered, others that she simply ran away. But the most frightening detail is that shortly after, local residents began reporting apparitions, a lock-ahead, pale figure, watching from a distance, always near wells or abandoned places. Although never proven, many say this story directly influenced the creation of Sadako and later, Samara. When The Ring arrived in the West in 2002, the fear spread globally. People reported being unable to sleep, dreaming about the scene of the well and the television. Children were even afraid of having screens turned off in their bedrooms. And the scariest part, reports of supposedly cursed videos began to emerge in several countries. Bizarre montages circulated on forums and pirated CDs, and those who watched them reported feeling dizzy, chills, or even having accidents days later. Of course, none of this was proven, but it shows how the idea of Samara went beyond fiction and infiltrated the collective imagination. Samara has become an icon of modern fear, not because she's just a monster, but because she represents something much deeper. The fear of being forgotten, rejected, and the desire for revenge born of loneliness and suffering. Ultimately, Samara is more than a character. She reflects the ghosts we carry as a society. The hidden abuses, the unspoken pain, the buried traumas. The well isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a metaphor for oblivion. It's the place where we bury everything we don't want to face. And perhaps that's why the story remains so disturbing, because, deep down, each of us has a particular well, and the question remains, what would happen if what we buried inside decided to come back? This is the true story behind Samara, the dark origin of one of horror cinema's most frightening figures, a blend of Japanese legends, real-life stories, psychological metaphors, and the power of collective fear. Now I want to ask you, after learning the secret behind Samara, would you still dare watch that cursed tape? If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment telling us what you thought, and of course, share it with your friends so they can also discover the darker side behind The Ring.